Chequered skipper is a small woodland butterfly in the skipper family. Skippers are so named due to their quick darting flight pattern, which makes them look like they skip along the top of the vegetation. The upper side of the butterfly is brown with yellow spots, and on its underside is a checkered pattern of brown and yellow. It's a small, fast-flying butterfly with a wingspan of only around 30 millimeters. They can be hard to see until you get used to them, and then they are unmistakable. You can see the adult butterfly flying in the right habitat from around the middle of May to mid-June. The adult during this time feeds on a range of flowers before mating and lays its eggs on the underside of tall grass blades. The eggs hatch within about 10 days, and the larva or caterpillar lives on the grass blade, which it rolls to form a tube. It feeds and goes through several molts until the following April, when it forms a pupa, and after 6 weeks emerges as an adult again in mid-May. The checkered skipper is confined to areas of northwest Scotland, where it thrives in damp, grassy woodland edge habitats. Actually, it tends to live within a 50-mile radius of Fort William, which I find strange, but we think it's something to do with the wet climate. It's protected under the Nature Conservancy Act in Scotland and is a UK BAP priority species and a butterfly conservation high priority species. It became extinct in England in 1976, where there are now ongoing trials trying to re-establish its presence. Its populations in Scotland seem to be generally stable, but population data is insufficient to really know what's going on. In Scotland, the butterfly breeds on open damp grassland, dominated by tall purple moorgrass, which is its favourite food plant. The best sites are often south-facing, on the edges of open broadleaf woodland, on richer soils which produce a lusher growth of the food plant. These sites also need to support a range of nectar-producing flowers which the adults feed on. Their favourites are bugle, marsh thistle and bluebells. The woodland also provides shelter from the wind and glades which act as sun traps for the butterfly. Like many butterflies, they need sheltered conditions to fly. Checkered skippers also typically like a bit of scrubby vegetation, such as bog myrtle, which provides a perching site from which they can defend their territory. Not too many scrubby trees is essential, as these shade out the grasses and their food plants which they need to survive. So, as you can imagine, the sites which contain everything that this butterfly needs is not as common as you may first think. When it comes to grassland management, the checkered skipper is not so fussy. As long as there is enough purple moorgrass of a decent length and an abundance of flowers for nectar during the flight period. It doesn't like too much scrub, so grazing is required. The ideal management, in fact, is light grazing. This helps keep glades open, whilst also keeping areas flower-rich. Heavy cattle grazing over a prolonged period can be detrimental to the site, as the butterfly likes the lush Molinia grassland on which the cattle feed. Livestock are not essential, but the site must be kept open of scrub and bracken. It helps to control bracken to prevent bracken encroachment into both flower areas and breeding areas. Plenty of open space within woodlands allows the checkered skippers to fly between colonies. Rides or paths running east to west have a greater proportion of warmer south-facing edges. In a woodland edge, you could add scalloped bays at intervals along the south-facing edge to provide additional sheltered habitat, for example. The main threats to remaining populations of the butterfly are inappropriate management, or lack of management, which leads to loss of colonies. Fragmentation of the habitat between colonies, causing isolation of the communities, often leads to population loss. This is important for species like the checkered skipper, which exist in a network of geographically discrete colonies. These are linked by the dispersal of individuals between the colonies to form a single large population. In summary, checkered skipper butterflies need sheltered, open rides in sunny, damp woodlands or sheltered areas, such as small glens where lush purple moorgrass grows. Way leaves often provide ideal habitat, but whatever the area, it must be kept scrub and bracken free. Grazing is not essential, as long as the site remains open. More information on grazing habitats for butterflies can be found on the Farming Advisory Service website.